Oh, we're just flying real high now, aren't we? We just feel like we're on top of the world. Look at me. Look at me up here. I'm so special. Just floating around. This is way higher up than I thought it was. Let me be real here. I need to... Oh no, I don't have my Allen key. I don't know how I'm going to fix this. We're just up here. We're floating. Where on earth is Carmen Sandiego? I had a way to fix this, and now it's left me. This is just me. Well, you know what? That's because we're behind the scenes. That's why. This is so bright. This is so bright. Good lord. I wish I could turn the exposure down, but I truly don't know how. Other than, like, maybe put my hands in shot. There we go. That calmed it down a bit. That actually worked. Okay, if I take them out... A little bit less glowy. A little bit less glowy. Good evening, digital fanboy in the Philippines. Hello, Transmech534. Easem93. This is the perfect thing to do at work. Elson Quizmorio. What do we mean prolific? I don't know what that means. What's up? Cypher316. What are you doing up so early? Oh, man. I'll tell you. 3 live stream. What's up, Mr. Evangelist? Let me tell you about my circadian nightmare. So how do we put this? I slept a good solid 6.5, 7 hours from 3:30 p.m. till about 10:30 p.m. I've been awake since, because my circadian rhythm is in the midst of another one of those disastrous backwards resets that it has every 2.5 months ever since all of the business with the global health crisis has been going on. Hello, Warhammers. Oh, no, what's a Warhammer? Logos Minor. I'll tell you about the Cheetah in a second. The Bell Captain, why is this thing is so high up, I have to crane my neck to see the chat. This is really dumb. The Bell Captain, why is Rung always T-posing for dominance? Because Rung is God. No Handle Terry, good morning to you too. So, that's the story of why I'm awake, is, ideally, I stay awake another, another 20-hour period, because this all started another couple days beforehand. And basically, what is it? By going to sleep, you see, yesterday I went to sleep at 3:30 p.m. because the day before I had slept from 10 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. So then, by going to sleep closer to 4 p.m., I have now shunted to waking up at around 10:30 p.m. And now I'll be able to roll over. Hopefully, we'll stay awake another 20 hours or so. Go to sleep around 7, 8 p.m. and then wake up, nice and early in the morning. And then for at least a week, I will be living that real good go to bed at 10, wake up at 5 in the morning lifestyle before it all falls apart again. So I figured that one way to get my energy up right now before things, fall backwards down the circadian staircase is do some stuff with a live stream going. What I want to do, this is the next review, and I want to film the transformation, and I'm going to do a bit. And I should explain, whenever I do a bit, usually it's about 70 to 112% improvised and not really planned out. So this is more on the 70% end. I want to transform him, and then the me who is operating the transformation is going to cut in on through the narration to explain about the tab. I also thought that I should live stream transforming this just in case the time I record it is when the tab finally breaks. So this is going to be a little, I'm going to give it a sec, but once we get going on this, it's going to be a little bit hands-off. I'm just going to film the whole transformation. I'll show you what this little setup I have going here is. Hang on a sec. So we're up here, right? Oh, Elson Quizmorio, I see what you mean. Prolific is key. Hello, V. Santoharto no. I messed up the syllables. I'm doing okay, aside from some circadian crises. So, I have this attached up here. I should also say I like Cheetah. So, It's gonna be another one of those ones where I'm fighting with the community, as I always do, except I don't. I only have, if I reviewed fans' toys more often, I'd have a lot more salty comment sections, but I don't buy them. So anyway, you're mounted here, which is on top of the camera, which is connected to the arm down here. So usually this is here, but for the purposes of the footage, this is here and this is on top of here. I shook you around a bunch so that you appreciate being locked in place up here, looking down at the filming area. I will never again try to pronounce your name, V. Santahartano. It'll never happen again. I've only done it once, and it's in a VOD, no one will ever know. So don't worry about it. I got you covered. So this is going to be up here. That's still in that shot. I'm also delaying because I'm going to have to turn off my air conditioner because I want a little bit of cleanliness to the audio that's coming through the... I'm not going to set up the Zoom to do the audio for this because I think it's funnier if the audio is a little bit more crunchy coming in through the DSLR. But that means I got to turn the air conditioner off so that I also don't have this roaring going on in the background. And I'm delaying because I don't want to turn the air conditioner off because it's stinking humid, in my opinion. I don't like humidity, so for me, stinking humid's probably normal for other people. Good morning, GBakes93. Oh, Transmech534, this is the back of a playmat. It's the back of a playmat that I won, or something, at my very first and only Magic GP, so it's a Channel Fireball Canada playmat. And I have too many playmats, so I figured this would be the one to sacrifice to leave face down, so that I have like a less clattery surface on the base of the filming scenario. Bell Captain, I always do a separate voiceover for transformation segment, but in this case I'm doing a bit, I decided. I came to this decision in the shower about an hour ago. So I figure we'll also live stream, so I have dual camera proof if the tab breaks. Oh, William Allen, having 2 cheers myself, I'm interested in how long you can keep the tab intact. I've transformed this toy about 20 times. I might also just be lucky. Because the nature of the tab, right, is it's so thin that feasibly there are some, possibly mine, that will just have the right number of micrometers of plastic to survive what's going on, but it's so thin that I think in mass production it's very easy for that tab to just come out too thin. I think that tab was never really meant to be there. It seems like something they would have removed during production. They might have just assumed it would snap off. It's because it's wholly unnecessary. It simply answers the question of what that divot is up there. But once I figured out how to not break it, I decided that I should just continue to not break it. Which makes part of the transformation of this a little bit tenuous. Also, I thought it'd be fun to do a morning stream because I'm usually like I sometimes usually stream in the evening when I do it. Then once I did one in the midday and that was fun, so I thought, well, I'm awake. Why don't we do it in the morning? Whenever I'm on this end of a circadian nightmare, doing a stream in the morning also just feels like a fun way to mix things up. You know, show the door being open for different time zones and etc. Easem, can't decide if you want to keep Siege, Sideswipe, and Mirage alongside the Kingdom ones, or sell them while you can. Can you get a lot for Sideswipe or Mirage in the first place would be my question, because you might just be a factor of, like, instead of getting, like, 20 bucks, you'd be getting 15 bucks. Like, with Sideswipe especially, I think there's sort of... Mirage might be a different story, but Sideswipe, I feel like there's going to be, like, a ceiling on what your gains are on that one in the first place. Bell Captain, you got asked, you have a hunkering for chocolate chip pancake. Should you get some or not? Bell Captain, it is June 3rd, 2021, and I wasn't going to share this with anyone else, but clearly it has to come to pass. I had a vision on June 3rd, 2001, that one day I'd be asked about chocolate chip pancakes, and that I should say do it. And I thought, what is this ridiculous? I'm graduating from I must be completely stressed out. In fact, I don't even know what anxiety is yet because I've been raised in a culture that told me to suck it up and blah, blah, blah. It must be completely... What I'm trying to say is go get the goddamn pancakes. It's destiny. I'm just having a sip. I'm having a sip. Hi, Pando. What's that? What's gonna film a little bit of something? Or gonna paint a little bit of something? No, Handle Terry, you keep saying the tab. Reminds me of the nozzle from Venture Brothers. It's true. Bell Captain, it's not just me. GBakes93 also says, get the pancakes. Don't turn it... If you have to ask, right? To me, that says you haven't had chocolate chip pancakes in a while, so you deserve them. Now, if you were like, should I have chocolate chip pancakes for the third time this month, this being June 3rd, then I'd be like, slow your roll down. Like, there's other things to have for breakfast. But this morning, I made some French toast. I don't usually make French toast, so I think it's a day for getting on the sweeter side of the breakfast pie chart. All right, I'm gonna turn this on, lock the focus in. Chris Soprano. Thank you for all the live streams. Make great background company when you're cooking. Today's menu will be chicken katsu sandwiches on fresh baked brioche. Holy moly, that sounds good. I am envious. I haven't made katsu. I never made chicken katsu. I've only ever made pork katsu, and that's been like over a decade since I made pork katsu. Squid catfish on the bagel train. Hell yeah. Alright, I'm locking focus because I'm going to be doing a bit. So I noticed when I test ran doing a bit just with my hands, it was making the focus go wild. So I should say I'm talking about the good camera, not the phone. The phone is just... The phone's whatever's happened. We're turning the AC off. I'm committing. Okay. So during this whole segment, I'm probably not going to look at the chat, so my apologies if I'm unresponsive for the next, let's say, 5 to 15 minutes. I don't actually know how long this is going to take. This can't possibly take 15 minutes. Alright. So, I'll tell you what I'm doing while I'm doing it in between shots. Because I'm still going to shoot this like a normal transformation. I start in a wide shot, by the way. Because I find that's more welcoming. Oh, hey, can I, just cut in here for a second? There's something that's a little bit important. It's about the tab. So there's a tab here that has to do with a divot up in here. This tab breaks a lot for a lot of people. I haven't broken it yet, and I figured out a secret on how to do that. Now, you're going to pull up on here, right? To get the peg that's stuck up the roof of the cheetah's mouth out of the mouth. When you pull up, the tab is underneath this blue and yellow pair of platforms that form the base of the neck. So you'd want to pull forward, right? But you can't. The peg's in there. So if you pull up a little bit, now you just felt the peg come unlocked. So now if you take the head and pull on here to flex the plastic to detension it, right? Remove the tension. Then pull forward, not up, but forward and then up, so diagonal forward up on this. Then you have now freed the tab. So the tab is this stress-marked little thing here. You can see it against the back of my finger. That tab serves no purpose and will probably break. In fact, this one has just now finally developed a stress flex. So we'll leave that alone. But when you pull this up here, another tip involving the tab, you got to pull this head down a little bit so you have a little bit of clearance to get it up onto that slot. Because if you just push this up, this tab might catch the forehead crest and then it's a disaster. Like right there. So if you pull that a little bit down while you're pulling the tab up, then you can see here, the tab is docking into the divot. That's how you protect the tab. Oh, hey, I gotta cut in again, actually. When you go the other way around, right, it's similarly dangerous, but in different ways. So when you pull this out here, right, you think, oh, I got this. But remember that forehead crest, if I pull down, You get around here, try to get your finger in there to pull. You see I'm pulling Cheetor's robot head downwards like this. That avoids the tension moment. Now you think you're all done. You're not done yet. First you do the endless scream, and then when you're pushing this down here, you'd think, oh, just jam it down. However, you got to jam it down a little bit like this, then, like you did before, pull the tension forward here, and then you feel the peg go in, and that goes under, and now you're in, and the tab is safe. So that's a whole lot of work, right, for this tab that is perhaps not even worth protecting. Well, as you can see, mine has fully stress marked over the course of the now 21 times I've transformed this, so I think we're just gonna pop that off, and we're gonna put that into one of our safe little archival tab saving baglets right here. And now preserved for all time, the tab. And now it just goes on like that. You know, I don't get to talk very much. Oh, sorry. So I just push stop. This is where, because I'm doing this motion, right? That's where I would like to do a cut on action to just a closer, slightly different angle for the sake of visual interest. So now I've changed my shot. You can't tell, but I've changed my shot. And then I'm gonna get going. And then basically when I do this, I'll later in editing find a frame on which to cut so that the motion carries through the two shots. That's cutting on action, which, by the way, is what all the TikTok kids have been doing with their hand editing on their phones. It's incredibly impressive, and I think that everyone should be congratulating and feeling more inspired by them. Anyway, I gotta film this. Oh wait, that was too far away. I gotta get closer. Yeah. That's a good time to cut on action because we got a big clamping shut of some things. I gotta get further back so this is a bigger change in distance. Forward again. Oh, I already transformed that one. It's this one we're doing. I did a close-up on the butthole. It's a peg hole on the butt. It's not something lewd, you sicko. So you gotta cut to a wide. Let's see if I can get this in one, which might take a few tries. And that's filming a transformation. How long did that take? I didn't actually measure how long that took. Was that 15 minutes? Has it been an hour yet? Is it noon Eastern time? Are we... I wasn't timing that. I didn't look at when we started doing that. Anyway, that's the story of the tab. Did y'all see how the tab fractured and then found it? Wait, where did it go? It was in here a second ago. What just happened? The tab just teleported out of my bag. There must have been a tiny, tiny little hole in there. I gotta find a more secure bag. This won't do. I'm not sacrificing the tab, not after all this. This is important, the tab. These Dr. Wu bags are full of holes. Maybe I'll double bag it. That should catch it. So we'll put it in this one, which seems a little bit more secure. And we'll get it down to this one. Okay. So isn't it amazing how the tab, in fact, almost cosmically, finally fractured itself free while filming? That is amazing. Gonna put this over here. And I'm gonna get you all set up for the rest of the stream. This is gonna take a sec. I've got to get you off of this camera, which I can turn off now. I'm turning the AC back on. And, oh, hey, Carnage, take it easy. No worries. This seems like a nice little nexus point for the cross-global time zones. Look at that, you just detached off of there and you're going back onto your normal position live stream. Isn't it fun to travel? Anora 1, yes, that is the back of the Cheetah head tab. It ejected itself with nigh cosmically perfect timing. That noise. What was that noise? I know what that second one was. I hit a light. That's what happened. Look, it's my big friend from Latvia. We are just no matter what we do, this angle be canted. All right. I do have to step away for a sec to grab water, not for myself, but for the ink. So I know what I'm going to do now for this color scheme. I had an epiphany. I saw a color palette called Orange Creamsicle. I'll tell you about it while I walk off in the distance to fill a cup with water. That should still carry audibly. You see, Orange Creamsicle. It's a cold color palette. Involves orange, which you can plainly see present already on the piece in question. Oh yeah, you need paper towels for this too, don't you? What I wasn't sure about was accenting colors. So then I thought, what about orange and jade? So I Google searched the phrase, orange and jade, and then Orange Creamsicle popped right up. It's orange, it's turquoise, it's mint, and it's yellow. So now I know what I want to do for my little tank. So I already knew I wanted to do the orange trim. And I did that much. And I was like, all right, we got orange trim, but now what? So the rest of the main body of the tank's gonna be turquoise and or jade. The little fellows are gonna be mint, and their uniforms are gonna be yellow. Blam! Problem solved. I also jumped all over it because I don't really like using the color yellow. Funny. And I figured, hey, this is a great challenge for myself to use a color I'm generally not interested in using for painting. So, here we go. Elson Quizmorio, did you know you're practically the best resource for Phone Brave for toys on the net? Are you kidding? No, someone else has done more info on those things since. There was, there's somewhere, it might be buried or gone now. There, in 2007, there was a TFW 2005 thread where someone had even, like, documented all the different codes you could put into the DX Phone Bravers, and I never backed that thread up, and I don't know if I can still find it easily. How on earth am I a source for info? I barely talked about most of them. I'm not saying you're lying, I'm just like, I'm a little agog, that's all. I saw something about the Normandy. SR2 Normandy, that's my favorite way to travel. It ain't bad. Someone outside just like honks in response. Like, I love the Normandy too! Like, thanks, pal. So my plan to implement the turquoise and or jade is I'm gonna start off 2 drops apiece of green tone and blue tone with a little dab of glaze medium, and then get that onto the tank body and see what happens. That's the current plan. I'm planning to do a little bit of painting until around about, let's just check the time. It's 9:52. So in about, let's see, 10:52. So about, when the stream reaches about 2 hours in length, I think I'm going to try to call it there. And I'm going to say that out loud this time so that I know to keep an eye on the stream timer, rather than all the times when I just stop looking at it and then 3 or 4 hours have passed. See, I don't plan my shots or my bits, but I'm trying to plan my streams at the start, so I feel a little bit more like I know what's going on. Where's my glaze? Saw something about a hurricane? For spring, and here in the States we call this color scheme the Miami Hurricane. Is that the weather pattern hue? Do the Miami Hurricanes have good taste? Because it's a nice taste in color. You know, nice soft turquoise. It's a good feeling. That looks neat. That looks neat. By the way, my plan for the doctor over here is I wanted purple for the jacket to start. I want to do the trim of the jacket in like bright toxic neon green, and then I want to darken some of the jacket down and maybe highlight the top up to more of a pink, from like a deep purple or blue to a pink. I'm thinking. Have you been playing Mass Effect Legendary? I have not bought it. I'm waiting for the inclination, because I enjoyed my time of Mass Effect 1 through 3 on my old 360, and I've actually never played it since. Not out of any hatred, it's that I haven't felt the urge. So with Legendary sitting there now, I'm like, alright, when I get the urge, I'm going to grab Legendary. Oh, well, that looks cool. The Mass Effect game I really want to play, and nobody agrees with me, and if you do agree with me, I think you're just showing some pity, is I want to play the game where there's no Shepard. Shepard's like my least interested character in the entire universe in Mass Effect, also not popular to say. And I want to see a game which is just Garrus and Tali solving crimes across the galaxy. That's my dream game that I don't think they're ever going to make. Nothing against the Shepard. It's just that I came to realize about, like, 2 hours into Mass Effect... Somewhere between 2 hours into Mass Effect 3 and 1 hour after I finished Mass Effect 2, that I was like, I don't think I care about Shepard at all. And I know that you're not really, like, supposed to, but I know that there are folks who do, and that, you know, became the crux of some aggro at the end of Mass Effect 3. And I kind of found myself going, like, I want to chill out in this universe without Shepard. Hobbit Ninja, Mass Effect, the point-and-click adventure expansion. I mean, I would. Holy crap. Holy moly, I would. I started playing Bioshock for the first time because it's 2007, apparently. I played Bioshock when it was new, and I still remember at the time when I thought the bit was just so cool. I was talking to a friend of mine, who I think still works in games. I can't remember anymore. And I remember we were both, like, in 2007 or whatever, just going like, yo, that was so cool. We were saying the phrase to each other, and then we were, like, saying it in threads and stuff on TFW, and we're going like, do you get it or do you not get it? It was like, it's just total, like, secret club nonsense. It was quite funny to me. By the way, the reason I'm doing this so thin is I want to see, like, how things look with this down, and it's easier to change trajectories or continue on either way if this is going on a little bit nice and thin. Jotaku Toys, I have not yet started checking out Zenkaiger, but I am extremely tempted to because I generally enjoy anniversary romps. And I've seen a whole bunch of Zenkaiger clips going around on the social medias, and I have been digging it a lot. I like how much they're playing around with a couple of tropes. Like, that's why, like, I liked Zio a lot because Zio was just such a loving romp, and I get a sort of similar vibe from Zenkaiger. This phone's really close to my face. Can I move this in a little bit here? Do a little bit of an adjustment so that. Yeah, there we go. Dark Pit 2, Cello. V. Santo Hartono, I get you're saying, especially M-Shep, do you have any player protagonists, or player-made protagonists you do care about? 100%, the boss in Saints Row 2, 3, and 4. I never played Saints Row 1. But I like Saints Row 2, 3, and 4, and I feel, now this is in the way of my face. I care a lot about the boss, specifically the Laura Bailey boss, I guess I should say. That was the only boss I used in Saints Rows 2, 3, and 4, and I got really, really, like, this is, I don't know, something about the way Laura Bailey did the performance, I was like, this is the boss in these games. In Saints Row 3, I got mad about Johnny Gat, and I was like, no, we're getting some bloody revenge. I'm also really happy to see that, like, the remasters and whatnot, and the PC ports for Saints Row are, like, still getting really decent treatment, and just, like, you know, noise from the relevant social media accounts. Like, it's nice to see. Well, Saints Row 4 runs poorly now? That sucks. I never played it on... Did I play it on PC? I might have booted it up on PC, but I think I played that one mostly on console. I know, like, you know, a lot of folks don't really like Saints Row 4 as much, and for very valid reasons, but I still really like it. Because to me, Saints Row 4 is in no way meant to replace Saints Row 3. So I like some of the stuff Saints Row 4 does. I like the way that they kind of lampoon player choice romances in Saints Row 4. And that, like, Keith David is also, like, an impossible he is the impossible romance. In fact, you can try as much as you like, and they still do a lot of fun stuff with it. But it's like you can't romance Keith David. He's too good. Now, since they added the workshop update for the Steam version, damn. Like, I'm sure at least someone's looking in on that. Like, it's the impression I got is that they actually give a crap about their ports being usable. Even though, like, you know, once your game is old enough and it's vaguely AAA, like, the deck seems a little stacked against you, because it's like, why do you want to keep patching this? Just release a new version kind of thing. Like, the system doesn't really seem to accommodate it very well. I still haven't played Gat Out of Hell, because I remember it didn't quite hit my vibes right when it came out, and I was like, I need to wait till I feel like it. And then, like, I just never did. I'm digging this. I'm digging this. Hello, Raichu Overlord Ben. I'm happy you can finally catch one of these live. This is also why I don't really want to have, like, any kind of streaming schedule. I just want to roughly try to do one a week. Because then I pick a time when I feel like it, and that time is a happy, pleasant surprise for somebody. Where is the tank commander's other arm? It's down. You can see the sleeve there. It's down there working the controls. He's jammed in there pretty tight, Aaron. Like, he's got a hard day's work ahead. What games am I playing? Nothing digital right now. I've been playing a lot of board games solo. I've been playing the crap out of a board game called It's a Wonderful World by Lucky Duck Games. It's like it's a tableau builder from that genre where you're drafting cards and you're creating a tableau of resource production with the aim of scoring some points. The thing about it I'm really liking is that the solo mode, especially for It's a Wonderful World, plays in like 20 minutes, and it's like a full game in 20 minutes. All the satisfaction, all the up and downs, 20 minutes. Part of the reason my circadian rhythm got really screwed up more so is that when I should have gone to bed one morning, I instead said, just one more game. I played like 6 games of It's a Wonderful World. I just find a lot of satisfaction in a quick, fun tableau builder. Because I feel like I'm making a machine, and it's very satisfying. Also, the theme, like, a lot of people don't like the theme. I kind of like the theme because it's very weird and also very not engaged that much by the game itself. It's just like, you're the leader of one of the 5 empires of the Earth, and it's modern day. and you're finding, you know, Atlantis or the Fountain of Youth or Parallel Dimension. Or you're just building, like, giant military super juggernauts. And, like, none of it's, like, there's no combat or anything. All you're doing is building an engine and trying to build bigger things and score points. But this is very satisfying. It's just like a 150 card deck and then, like, a bunch of resource cubes. How did you know Earth Swipe was getting announced the day you dropped your Siege Swipe review? My powers are so grand. Let me do the thing. I didn't even know. Because they operate on a level beyond my perception. Picky Pete's thoughts on the Transformers deck building game now that the rulebook's out. I think it looks like it could be super fun. There's depth in it that I didn't necessarily expect from a licensed game of its standing. And the real thing to find out now is, like, what are the cards like? Because they have a good game engine, but that game engine doesn't do anything if the cards are boring. And we don't really know what a lot of the cards do. You also probably don't make a good game engine like that without the cards being good. So, like, I kind of have doubts that, you know, the card selection is going to, like, deaden the game. But I'm quite excited about it. It looks really neat. I'm just doing a second coat on here because I want to get this hue a little bit stronger. Oh, PvP's the Transformers one is like co-op or PvP. Well, not PvP, but it's co-op or competitive. The thing about the Transformers one is they went for like really like, I'm not gonna like just use the word, but kind of Euro-gamey decisions on it as far as like what competitive means, which also got me really interested. Because like competitive in Transformers is like you're still working together, at least in the core game, you're still working together to stop the Decepticons. However, you're also trying to undermine everyone else so that you do it better. And there are confirmed from the rulebook and some photos people dug through, like there are cards where it's like, for this turn only, you may attack other Autobots, or for this turn only, you may acquire Decepticon characters. So it's like you can just be a jerk Autobot, and that's the competitive version. And then there are cards that straight up don't really do anything anymore, outside of competitive, and that is how they make the solo and co-op version harder, which also is like a really straightforward and kind of clever decision, as opposed to just having the co-op be easier. Because when you're doing co-op or solo, and especially in like an analog game, you want it to be at a certain point difficult enough that you don't win all the time. Like those kind of games have to be harder. Because if you win all the time and it's analog, then it's like there's nothing there. Because you're not getting, the bombastic experience necessarily of a digital game. You're opening up a board game and winning. And the winning part's it's gotta be difficult for the person, I should say. I prefer games that have like a wide swathe of difficulty, because I also don't believe in the whole like it's just hard thing. Like that's nonsense to me. Tweakable that's why I like Spirit Island so much. That game is nothing but tweakable. I'm kind of going on a tangent because I'm sort of locked in on this second coat, and if I look away, I think I'm going to lose my place. I missed something. I feel like I missed a spot. I'll let this sit for a second and see if it pools, and oh yeah, it's already doing it up there. Stop it! I want to push the pools around so they get into all the crevasses, and then that's making use of their viscosity for the greater good. I see Shadow Scribe saying Fans Hobby Energon Prime and Fans Hobby in general. The Energon Prime looks alright to me. The thighs are kind of like, I wish they were bulked up more. Like I don't know. Something about the way they're doing the Unicron trilogy stuff, where their chosen stylization is also like moving like very slightly away from things I like about the designs that they are delivering. And I'm like, it's not like awful. It's just like I haven't bought any of that stuff yet, because it's all like just like the Armada Prime is like it's just. I don't want to buy it online, but I'm like, it still probably would be a thing if I had the cash and nothing else in a dealer room in person. I'd be like, all right, let's do it. Aaron says, it's what makes a good game of Pandemic feel good. When you win or lose on the last 2 or 3 turns, it feels like you did a thing. Yeah, like there's some really cool analog experiences I've had so far, which is just, I don't know, it's something amazing about like being able to get those kind of, like I get the same serotonin I get from a video game, but out of something that is wholly analog, where the opponent is like a set of mechanics or just like a deck of behavior cards. That's what got me like really, really locked in on that stuff after I was dabbling in it last year. So getting that not just the same serotonin, like the same kind of like ooh kind of energy, but like getting this also the same addiction kind of quality of like oh, I just gotta play one more. Like when I was playing Too Many Bones, And, like, it became, like, I played Too Many Bones for 8 hours the way that I would, like, when a new Hitman game comes out. And I'm like, this is a bunch of mechanics and neoprene and poker chips, but it got me. That's really cool. It's not like it's gonna work for everybody, but, like, I never knew that was even remotely possible. I never knew it was remotely possible to get in a solo analog experience. Which I think involves, like, you have to kind of be into it, too. Like, if you're like, why am I even rolling dice when I'm the only one who knows what the result is? Then it's like, yeah, you're not going to get anything out of it. But if you're like, you know, down to hold yourself accountable to not cheat, for instance, it becomes really fascinating. While the stuff on the tank is drying, I'm going to do some of the deeper edges in here with this slightly darker mixture and see what that does. Jose Carlo, I miss in-person D&D myself. Yeah, I mean, to a degree, stuff like D&D at least, like, it's not necessarily the same, but, like, that and some other specific games are, like, at least they're doable to a degree over Zoom or voice chat or something. I got to participate in one or two of those kind of things with D20 Live during lockdown, and I was surprised how much it worked for me. Like, the energy was still there. I still got to pester Mike, the DM, the GM. GM, I guess, is more of a catch-all, right? Yeah, like D20 Live was using Roll20, and if you learn how Roll20 works, like, holy moly, the functionality in there is multifaceted. Okay, GM is the catch-all for not D&D, yeah. PKP is the one TTRPG you can't really do over Zoom or Discord that you really miss is Dread. I don't know Dread. I don't know a lot of TTRPGs. I should say, it's not like I'm like, Dread! That one does not fall under the purview of my vast experience. Like, I don't have a vast experience. Jose Carlo, are there VODs of this session? Do you mean like the live stream? Because yes, the nice thing about YouTube live streaming is it automatically creates a VOD and puts it up as a normal video when it finishes processing it. And I believe it saves the chat as well in a separate window. So on the whole, it's quite nice to use. That's why I've been using it instead of, like, trying to make Twitch work for these things. I'd still like to exist over on Twitch because I like cruising around that platform. But I was talking to someone else about this. It's like right now, like, probably the best thing to do is just, if you want to live stream and you already have a site wherein people will be aware you're live streaming and possibly want to see it, it's better to just go there than try to, like, restart. I wish Restream could just, like, run through my phone. Even though, like, I know that, like, Twitch eventually, if you have enough audience there, Twitch starts to, like, oh, you want to be a Twitch partner? No more Restreaming. It's got to be Twitch exclusive or whatever. And then you're making VODs on YouTube and blah blah blah. I just would, I don't know. Because there's parts of the Twitch interface I really like too. Like I like the whole raids thing. It's just that specifically is something that I would like to see YouTube pull into its live stream functions. Like, knowing that someone else that you follow is streaming when you finish a stream and being able to send your viewers there if they feel like sticking around, I think is, like, just a net positive. But I'm not sure, like, if I'm attributing too much stability to the YouTube live stream service. Like, maybe the whole thing will, like, collapse if you tried to do that. I don't know. Oh, Dread is designed for short horror games, and the main mechanics of the dice rolls. Oh! Picky Peeves! Sorry, I tried to lean back when I said, oh. I do know what Dread is! One of the solo gaming podcasts I listened to, Only Player One, I think, talked about Dread. Because that Jenga Tower thing, I heard about that. There's one that, hang on, I'm going to go on a little bit of a paraphrase, half memory. There's one that takes place, there's a bunch of games built around Dread. The one they played is where you're alone on a failing space station, and it's like a solo journal-keeping experience with the Jenga Tower to determine what's happening, and the thing about that one is you're making video diaries in character of what your character's going through. Like, that's what at least they say, like, that is the intended experience for that specific one. I can go look up the name later, but it's in one of their podcasts. That sounded so fascinating to me, also as, like, an improvisational storytelling exercise and performance exercise. Like, it seemed really cool. Like, playing it solo is probably, like, you have to have a huge amount of being there for it and having suspension of disbelief. But the Jenga Tower thing fascinated me. Because it also seemed like a really cool tactile analog to, like, you know, trying to fix the reactor or whatever. Without the reactor, like, you know, exploding. Like, it seems so cool. I forgot that the base idea or the base system was called Dread. That's one, I have a journaling RPG that I want to stream sometime over on my desktop with a Word document. It's called 1,000-Year-Old Vampire. I haven't tried it yet, and I was thinking that, like, I'll just stream the first time I try it, so that, like, you know, if I end up just making horrible decisions, we can all have a guffaw at it. Hey, Tygon, how's it going? I'm trying to use, what do you call it? Controlled washes for shading on these robes. I mentioned at the top of the stream, I'm having a bit of one of those episodes of a backwards flipped sleep cycle, so I'm trying to make the best of it. What I love is how well the tower emulates the pacing of a horror movie. Like, tension keeps ramping up and then relief once it... Yeah, like the Jenga Tower as a storytelling mechanism is pure genius, in my opinion. Ordinary Nobody, what type of paint do you use? Acrylic. Yeah, I use only water-based acrylics. I don't use any oil paints or enamels myself. That way I don't have to worry too much about, like, the state of the brushes. For Springen, our solo RPGs like that, basically a choose-your-own-adventure. So the journaling ones are a little bit more like a creative writing exercise, but there are also... I just got one that's super cool called Spire's End. There are solo-based RPGs that are kind of like a gamified... thicker version of Choose Your Own Adventure. The one I got is called Spire's End. One that is really easy to get a hold of right now is, at least I think it is Escape the Dark Castle, and then the sci-fi version, Escape the Dark Sector. I've been eyeballing Escape the Dark Sector. Those are ones where you have, just like, your story is a stack of tarot cards. With the Escape series, you have decks for Acts 1, 2, and 3, at least in Dark Sector. You have decks for Act 1, 2, and 3, and you're pulling, like, 3 or 4 cards from each Act deck, and then that's your story, and you're going through it, and then there's, like, dice-based combat and stuff, but you're also making decisions, and you're kind of just creating a story that you go through, which I find very interesting. I saw it earlier. Shadowscribe, getting into the exclusives, Earth Mirage, Grimlock, or Earth Swipe, and Skywarp. I have them on pre-order because it's easy to pre-order stuff on Amazon Canada. I think I'm going to get them, because I generally like how they look. I mentioned, I think, last stream, that, like, I'm fine with Kingdom Grimlock, but I agree with everyone who says he just looks kind of dull, and like, I don't even need him to look exactly like Beast Wars Grimlock. I just think that his color layout looks super sketch messy. Like, his color layout looks extremely rushed and just, like, not great. And I don't need him to look like the, you know, the Fox Kids one or whatever the Grimlock repaint was. It wasn't Fox Kids. I always call it that. I don't know why. And I don't need it to look like, you know, the spotted one from the one piece of artwork. It's just like, what they're putting out looks messy, and that's that for me. But the head sculpt is really nice. Like, I really like the head sculpt, and I like Mirage a lot. So, Twilight_Phantom. I didn't realize I was catching this live until just now. How creepy would it be if you weren't? Yet that just happened. Think about it. Ordinary Nobody, SG Starscream looks unfinished to me. I don't think he looks unfinished, but I think he's, like, sort of the visual victim of what happens when when you go for the primarily white color scheme on a toy. It's like, it's mostly going to be white plastic, which, especially in photos, I don't think ever really looks as good as it does in person. That Starscream is one where I'm like, I really want to see that at EB Games and make a decision when I look at it. I don't want to pre-order that one. Although I think the sword is super cool. I bumped the phone. What's up? Baltan 2! It is spontaneous. You're not strapped to my head necessarily, but, you know, arrangements can be made. I really like how this coat is turning out. I really like this. I almost wonder, do I want to, like, drag the dark just up? I don't know. I don't know. Can't you not open the select boxes? Aren't the SG guys are in normal boxes, though, aren't they, like, with a window? That's the impression I got from the reveals, at least. Yeah, 'cause you can't just, like, open up the cardboard with a tray inside select boxes. That's correct. Although, one of the EB Games in town sets up some of those things in, like, a little display thing they have next to the cache. So that would be a thing to just ask them, like, hey, do you want to put one of these on display so I can decide if I want to buy it? Aaron, SG boxes have big one. Okay, yeah. Tygon, I got to imagine that a camera strapped to one's head while painting would eventually become, like, at least very quiet resentment towards the camera. Let me just lean in to see his dunk. Oh. Oh, yeah, for Springen, it says EB Games sounds much better than GameStop's. They're not, like, you know, like a million times better, but, like, EB Games in Canada came to realize its increased value for toy collectors, and generally I find it's a real decent place to figure stuff out. You gotta deal with the part where they keep thinking you're into all the toys. So when you're there for Transformers and they're like, hey, you want to order some Marvel Legends or some Funko Pops? And you gotta go like, I'm only here for converting robots, but thank you. And usually they're pretty happy about that, because also, like, some of the Funko collectors can be a bit much. Like, I had to wait an extra 5 minutes to buy something last year, because there was a Funko collector who was, like, wanting every single copy they had. They had, like, 4 copies of a Funko that the guy had on pre-order, and he was like, can you please bring out the other 3 so I can make sure I'm getting the one with the best paint? And I was like, that's in my head, I was like, this is valid, but also, please verbally acknowledge me and the other person stuck in line behind you. Please! At least turn around and say sorry about this. Oh, the EB Games here have the pop walls, too. Like, definitely. Load-bearing pop walls. Oh wait, I got some Axsmith work salt. I want to read it. Garfield is awesome. Trans rights? Trans rights! It's the month. I mean, it's not, it's the friggin' century for it, but also it's specifically the month to say trans rights. Louder. Trans rights! There, that was loud. Sorry to headphone users. Aaron, Baltan, I'm stuck in meetings today that could be emails with an Excel sheet attached. Aaron, I feel bad for you. But at least you're getting to chill out on a stream where I can, while it's happening, tell you it's okay to be grumpy. I hate that stuff. I mean, I don't hate it, but it's so annoying when there's, like, those situations that are like, you know, can you tell me what we need to do? It's like, oh, can we have a meeting? And it's like something that's so straightforward. You're like, could you just send me the... You could also just tell me what you want in the reply to this email where you said, can we have a meeting? Because it's not complicated enough to require the meeting. Did I not do the hatch? I did not. I gotta get to the hatch. It was upside down, so I didn't notice it when I did the first pass. That's fine. If it looks a little different, it's also upside down, so no one's gonna notice it unless they're looking for it. So don't none of you tell anybody about my uneven hatch coloration. I'll know it was one of you, and there will be a reckoning. Hang on, I missed a few. Buy rights! Ace rights! Hell yeah! Ordering nobody. Still waiting for my seller to open pre-order for Artfire. Dang, they should open that up. That thing's... Artfire's up on... That already came and went on Pulse, right? Pulse with their, like, stock of one case, it seems. That's what it sounds like to me whenever I hear people talk about Pulse pre-orders. Aaron, here's a list of items that need worked. Are you working on them? How are you working on them? Can you work on them more quickly? Aaron, are you allowed to say the thing that I know you want to say, which is, like, I would be working on them more quickly if you weren't asking me in this meeting that we don't need to have? That would be my reaction. I don't think I would be able to not say that. Like, I would be working on them faster if we weren't talking about working on them faster. PPs, it's Pride Month, meaning it's illegal to be straight. Anyone caught not being gay is getting reported to the Antifa. Well, don't worry, don't worry. This is, listen. No, I can't say that. You are safe here. I will keep you hidden. I'll come up with a cover story for you. I got one. I'm a tourist. You're part of my tourist family. Red 97 Ghost, good morning. I'm gonna check the time. 10:28 Eastern, that means 7:28 Pacific. We might get some of the West Coast folks cruising in here if they see this happening. That'll be a fun surprise for them, wouldn't it? I think it would be. What happens if I do this? What does this look like? I can experiment on this underhatch. That doesn't look very good. No, I'll just leave that alone for now. Oh, this is color, though. Look at this. This is a tank. I'm enjoying this. I was gonna do, like, a jade color on top of this, but I'm starting to like this hue that I got going. I don't know if I want to do the jade color now. I should probably work on the little crew guys. Part of the reason I'm not working on the crew guys and been putting it off is they're so small, I can't really tell what's them and what's their clothes, especially the little head poking out here. I gotta check I might leave that one. I can do him. I can tell what he is. But, like, this little one down here, I feel like I need to check the Privateer Press photos to, like, see where they put color on it so I can know what the intention was. Like, I can't tell if that's a hat. Like, I can tell there's goggles, but I can't tell if that's a hat or just their head. I don't know. I'm going to start sorting out some of the skin tone. Mint. We just want to do blue wash, I think, or blue tone to set that up. We'll go glazeless blue tone. There we go. So you can see the arm there now. That makes more sense. Red 97 Ghost. Speaking of West Coast, you planning to go to TFCon LA? I literally can't make plans because I don't know if the border's going to be open. But I would like to, because I can roll that together with a trip out west to British Columbia as well. It'd be expensive though, so there's also that. Shadow Scribe, I keep flip-flopping on 52 Toys Beast boxes. Me too! Because I have a couple, and they're really good, and everyone I know who's been getting newer ones is like, they're so good still. And I'm like, it's such a... Like, I should just get one and, like, not feel like, oh, do I collect them or not? Like, I just want to get one that's cool. And it's hard to talk my brain out of, like... You know, it's hard to talk the lousy collector brain down from being the lousy collector brain, if you know what I mean. What if I just blue wash this whole little head and see what it looks like? And then make a decision. What if we do that? Because if the rest of this is helmet, I can just paint over it as though it's helmet. But I want to see what it is. We got a high recommendation for Demon Dart from Si-Wing Xun. Take it easy, Tygon. I'll see you later. For Springen, I got some of the first year. I think up to the elephant is where... Like, I got the elephant and the gorilla and the dinosaur. Praetor Gix. The crab and the beetle are amazing, and you don't have to get an entire collection to enjoy them. Correct, you do not have to. Is my problem. I heard the beetle was awesome. Right, you Overlord Ben, have you seen the Magic Square second take on that Light of Justice? I have, but all the shots are in robot mode, so I'm like, it looks okay, but like, tell me what you changed if you changed the transformation. That's what I want to know. I think it's interesting they're doing a second one. Like, Magic Square is clearly doing a grand pivot to a new overall feel with that Menasor. So it's interesting to see. Now the Mantis, the Beetle. I heard, like, the Beetle is, like, somewhat new, and I just know I saw so much chatter about the Beetle being cool. And it made me want to participate. I think this guy has... he's got, like, a cuff on. It's like a ripped sleeve? Or is that just his elbow? That's just his elbow. Why don't I just tilt this down a little? It's probably a better view altogether. And those are fingerless gloves, I think. I can see the sculpted line. This whole time, I forgot to plug the phone in. Hang on. We're gonna flip over. Oh! Hang on, I'll explain myself in a second. Okay, so I realized that the power port is like on the non-optimal side of the phone, so I thought I'll just flip the phone over and use the gyroscopic functionality of the iPhone 7. So this will be fine. But then the YouTube app was like, your orientation is locked. Turn the phone back around. And I was like, yes, sir. Red 97 Ghost, have you had a chance to mess with Kingdom Cyclonus yet? Yeah, I got him early on. I got a pre-order on him with EB Games. So I've got him and Scourge, thankfully. I did not want to have to hunt those two. I was like, I'll pay retail for them, I'll pre-order, whatever. I just need to own these two. Sooner than later, please. And it panned out, thankfully. There we go. Not gonna lie, as much as I'm excited to like work with it, I am not hyped to paint a bunch of yellow around a bunch of blue. But that's why we do this. We do this so we learn. We, I mean me. But yeah, Kingdom Cyclonus, that is a transformation. Kingdom Cyclonus, the review I recently put up a couple days ago of Sideswipe, where I was like, good workhorse deluxe. As a compliment, I'd say Kingdom Cyclonus is also just like good workhorse Voyager. Good bot mode, good alt mode, good transformation. Transformation definitely excels, I think. So he's not like comfortably, not comfortably dull in a nice way. He's definitely more exciting, but like also just good at what he's doing. Would be how I'd describe him. Oh, how are we gonna do this yellow? I think we're gonna go for an orangey yellow so it ties to the orange a bit more. I'm gonna use a contrast. I'm gonna open with a contrast and we'll see how it looks. Yeah, Verspringen, like, I think that's kind of parallel to what I mean. Like, Cyclonus is just, like, very good at being a transformer. And then, like, I guess because a lot of Cyclonus toys have not been very good at being transformers, it feels extra special on him. Like, somehow that fellow was a nut to be cracked. I got a slight tangent in my mind, actually. I just want to quickly throw... Have we got any Canadians? Any multi-generational Canadians? Because I saw something that made me mad on YouTube. This is for just for the Canadians. This is inaccessible content here. So I saw a thing. I tweeted about it. Go look if you didn't see my tweet. It still should be near the top of my timeline page. Apparently, Buffalo, New York, had like a friggin' dollar store crumpled Xerox floating in the toilet tank knockoff of Snit in the year 2000 called like You Guy or something. I'm actually mad. I'm unironically salty because there's a clip of it and I was just like, what the how dare you, Buffalo, New York? And like, this is 21 years in the past now. I'm not over it. I only found out about it this morning, but I'm not over it. I think that Buffalo owes Canada an apology. Like, when you see the clip, the worst part, not only does the thing look terrible, right? Mouth doesn't even friggin' work. When he starts talking, it just is an automated thing of the eyes going left and right. And then the host, the on-screen host, they're... Like, I'm not even gonna call him a knockoff PJ Phil. He's a nothing. Their nothing is like, tell us about the contest again. And then a narrator just starts talking. And the snit-like thing just keeps going through its motions with its mouth completely shut. I was so mad. Buffalo does have a lot to answer for. And then when I tweeted it, all the Canadians were still asleep. So friggin' no one has backed me up. You know when you're salty and then like the salt turns into why is no one saying hell yeah? So you're like the one at the back of the party who's like, where am I? Man, I can't believe what they did in the end of Cyber 6. Where are my Cyber 6 people at? And no one replies to you? That was me. But about snit. Alright. This is kind of working for me. I'm glad I got the colors down. That was my main goal with this stream was film Cheetah transform and get the colors down on this one at least. Because this is the one this was starting to daunt me a little bit, and I'm feeling more into it now. This is contrast Iyaden yellow, by the way. This is the orangey contrast. There's two yellows that are both really good. Contrast yellows, both worth picking up in my opinion. Iyaden yellow and the Nasdrag yellow is the cold yellow. It just doesn't look very good in here, but it's pretty good. Oh, Chris Muse, you see it, right? Okay, it's confirmed to me. Okay. Tell me I'm right. Barb D8, any of the new Fig Arts announcements catch your eyes? I got in a pre-order on the Shinkocho Seiho Shadow Moon, because A, I'm a masochist, so I went through that, but B, he doesn't seem to have any soft rubbery parts. Not rubbery parts, but like, well, kind of rubbery. He doesn't have the weird stuff they did on Shinkocho Seiho Black, so I was down with it, and I managed to get in a pre-order. Chris Muse, it's like the creepy Christian video golem version of Snit. Right? I was livid. And I got more mad when the thing started talking but the friggin', it's not even a puppet. It's just like some homunculus they built. Aiden Reed, Van, you got Paleotrex or any of their siblings? And if so, what are your thoughts? I love the fossilizers. I reviewed the one least relevant to the rest of them, but they all have this, like, collectively bloodborne feel to my eyes, which has become my headcanon for them, because I don't think they're getting any other canon anytime soon. And I'm digging them a lot. Like, they're really fun. I got some on Instagram and Twitter. I posted some photos of a Paleotrex Ractonite vertebrake combiner I made that I was really happy. Well, not combiner, but Ractonite and Paleotrex forming like a suit for vertebrake. I really had fun putting that together. Ordinary Nobody, did Tiga... Oh, sorry, I was thinking of Leo who went up. But yeah, Tiga got that soft plastic treatment too. I'm not feeling good about it. Oh, Shadow Moon does have rubbery parts in his shoulders, but they're black, so if they crack, it won't be so... If it's in the shoulders, I guess it's okay, but... I don't know what they're trying to do with that... I mean, I know what they're trying to do with that stuff. I don't think that it is panning out at all. Like, Storm Collectibles, I stopped buying their stuff because I just don't like the way that stuff feels. That's nothing against Storm Collectibles. It's not to my taste. And Storm Collectibles, I think, only really works when they do that stuff because of the sheer girth and size of those figures. Yeah, Chris Muse, like, it's not like they just, like, photographed Snit, like, it's made from scratch, but yes, in your words, it's a fever dream sleep paralysis demon. It's like... It's less knockoff Snit, more really bad third-party Snit. You're not wrong. Piggy Peas, I think Ractonite nails the Squat Bruiser look better than Scorponok. I agree. Ractonite is a hench. I like Ractonite. Yeah, Verspringen, I hope that it sounds like Black, Shinkocho Seiho Kamen Rider Black. It sounds like across the board internationally there have been problems, and hopefully that gets them to friggin' course correct away from that nonsense. Prince A-Fan, you're not late. You're just in time for Prince A-Fan Minute. Starts now. Yeah, Wingfinger looks fun. I'm a little mad Wingfinger is, like, a Maximal, only because I like them being, like, I don't even care about them being Predacon. I just like them all being the same, and also, like, not nice. K-Noah, hey! Barb D8, what do you think of Fig Art's Decade 21's cape? I had this conversation on Twitter, earlier with Jeeg. I'm gonna think of something to do while I talk. I'm gonna do this. So, fig arts right now, I think, so the cape is good. It should be cloth. I think fig arts should just be doing cloth capes, full stop, and should be more expensive to accommodate only doing cloth capes, full stop. Because I think that Bandai still want fig arts to be this weird, like, tweener line that is both on shelves for teenagers, but also is high-end and premium Bandai collectible. All that means is that, like, fig arts just has lots of thick qualities that pop up that make people say, oh no, not one of these, and that's it. The on-shelf presence, that lunch has been devoured by Shodo and Sodo, and Rider Kick figure, RKF. Fig arts, I think, needs to pivot to be committed to just being high-end 6-inch. I think that fig arts should just raise the general price point by, like, 1,000 or 2,000 yen, and iron out all those things. So, like, if you know, we have capes, the capes are always cloth. If articulation has to have lots of extra engineering to get around to costume design, it does, rather than just having a base buck and then you sculpt the costume on top of it. Because I just think fig arts is slowly not keeping up with the times in a way that I feel it could. Like the reveal where they're like, you know, oh look, on Zhao Dragon Caliber, we got a soft plastic cape on this one because it's a big cape, and I'm like, how's that a reveal? Because now all that means is, are the joints on the figure stiff enough to resist the soft plastic cape so it has any use? And is the soft plastic cape of a softness that may lead to it degrading over time? Like, fig arts feels like it doesn't want to commit to being collector toys while consistently going up in price, and all that means is more disappointment, right? Because they aren't batting for 1,000, they aren't aiming to bat for 1,000, but the price is getting near that, and it just means there are more disappointments than there are wow moments. Like, and not to say like that's across the board. There's good fig arts, like the fig arts is good toys, but the way I would illustrate it best is with Saber. You got fig arts, and you've got my example is you got fig arts and you've got Sodo. Sodo Saber is incredibly impressive in the context of what it is. The thing is a friggin' sub 1,000 yen candy toy action figure with butterfly shoulder joints. Fig arts Saber, Brave Dragon is what I'm talking about specifically, is like an adequate fig arts with a clever sliding trick that kinda helps with its hip cape, and not enough accessories, and it's priced lower, but in a way that's meant to get you to go and buy a bunch of web exclusives to get the rest of its accessories, so it's not really a win. I find fig arts is often your baseline's up here and you're hitting here, and on the same graph, Sodo is like your baseline's here and you're hitting here. So fig arts needs to commit to being more expensive on every level and not just happen to get more expensive, I think. Especially, and this would have been the year to do it, the year of Saber, where everyone's got a little cloak thing. So I don't know, it's just I'm so much more excited by Sodo now, and have been for a couple years. Where like even in build, it's like the fig arts build figures they're good, but I'm like not excited by them. I'm not even really excited to chase them. I just, you know, I have a bunch of them. I'm missing a few. I'd like to fill in the holes eventually, but I'm not excited about it. Like it feels like the line is aware of its qualities and not really aiming higher. Like, it's fine to be comfortable with your qualities, but it's like when you have a design like Saber who demands, you know, a different approach, it's like, well, what if we also try to make Brave Dragon a 3,500 yen figure like we always do for the main rider now? And it's like, then it's just not going to be very good. Shodo does not have stickers. Sodo has stickers. Unfortunately, Sodo with stickers is also where a lot of the most exciting decisions happen. So that's a limiter. That's absolutely a limiter for Sodo. Is like stickers are going to be a turnoff no matter how well they're done for some folks. I'm going to try to do a quick little wet blend thing here and to see if it even does anything. Sandra Portella, Figuarts needs to up their game if they want to compete in a market where we've seen Sentinel, Thousand Toys, and Mafex, though Mafex is very hit and miss. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Mafex, I think, is like one of the least reliable lines in that oeuvre, but also Mafex consistently delivers soft goods. I'll not say soft goods, I'll say cloth goods, specifically. If we say soft goods, we're talking about Shinkochu Seiho Black again. But they consistently have cloth goods on those figures. You know, for better and for better and or for worse. Like, I have Mafex Vader from Rogue One. As far as I know, still considered one of the best Vader sculpts out there. The cloth cape on him is terrible. Like, really, really badly done wire posable cape that doesn't understand the physics of what a wire posable cape is supposed to do. But it's still there, and it's not Figuarts Vader with his big hard plastic cape shell thing. And that's, yeah, it's not even getting into, you know, Sentinel and Thousand Toys and everyone else existing in that area now too. Like, Figuarts is getting kind of left behind. I think Marvel MCU Figuarts have also been just not very good on like as a larger umbrella in Figuarts. The MCU Figuarts quality always feels like it's dragging everything down a little bit. Oh god, yeah, Jotaku Toys. I can't believe I have to, when I saw that, because I got Brave Dragon for a decent price, and then I was like, I have to do the wizard thing of swapping a piece off the hand I'm using to another one, and it's just the hand covers. Like, like you're not, whatever money you're saving wasn't worth it. I'd have paid another $15 to not have to do that. The swappable hand covers on that thing made me, I was salty on Twitter for a second when I got there. I was like, come on. Like, at least with Wizard, it's like, yeah, there's rings. That's extra, that's multiple extra colors and plastics. Like, that absolutely I can see how it is more thrifty to swap those around, even if I don't want to. Like, I get it. Such a bummer. I should say I'm coming from the perspective of also I like Saber. I'm not also going to be like, and I hate Saber. Like I like Saber and I want to be excited about Saber figures, and I am, but they're called Sodo Saber figures. And I got zero intention to pursue the Saber Figuarts because they all have capes in their designs, and it's just going to be annoying, I think. Barb D8 on Shodo. Yeah, Shodo has a lot of rubber shoulder pads, which in the long run could get messed up. Like it's not like this doesn't solve it. With Shodo, you know, and Soda, but with Shodo, in that regard, it's like at least Shodo is like you can probably get a new one for $10, and also the shoulder pads are not really like jointed, so one could feasibly glue them in place, or, you know, fashion a way to glue them in place. It wouldn't be very nice, but it's like, with a lot of candy toys, I'm like, the thing I also try to remember, not try to, but the thing that helps me with them is I'm like, I could get another one. Not as easily as if I lived in Japan, obviously, but, like, I could get another one. With Figuarts, it's like, how easy is it to get another one? Destricon, lots of companies put metal wires into the edges of capes, but there's a science to it that if you don't do it right, they actually become more of a problem. And that's what happened on Mafex Darth Vader, is, if this is the cape, right? Hang on. I have a cape sitting over here. I should say a caped figure, not a cape. So this cape doesn't have a wire in it, but if you put a wire in it, you wouldn't just want it down the edges and around the bottom. You also need those wires to meet somewhere and have structure up here. Otherwise, they spin around inside, and that's what happens on Mafex Vader, is the wires are borderline useless. They just make his cape permanently poof outwards, no matter what you do, because they'll spin around inside their little compartment and never hold position properly. Yeah, SHF Saber Brave Dragon only has one pair of knuckle covers. You have to pull the knuckle plate off and put it onto the next hand that you put on. Oliver Springen, the thing with Shoto and Soto and getting replacements is that's also in a world where we have SAL shipping again. Because then you can get them off Mandarake if you wait enough. Right now, you can't, because Mandarake is like DHL only, so that means you can't just spot replace stuff. I should have mentioned, I'm talking about the hopeful future where we get SAL back. There's a lot of Soto stuff I haven't been able to buy because I would have to wait for a store to align its stock in a really specifically perfect way, which never happens. But it's never a problem because the shipping would be like, it's 1,000 yen. Now, because everything's DHL, the shipping sometimes is 1,100 yen, but then DHL is like, hey, $20 service fee on top of your customs fees because we handled it. And it makes every single DHL package an extra 20 Canadian on top of the customs fees and the shipping. Because DHL charges, they don't charge 20 bucks, they charge an amount as a brokerage fee, and then they charge tax on the brokerage fee, which makes it 20 bucks. And it makes me so mad. Barb D, do you approve of SS Wizard's cloak? Yeah, Shinkocha Seiho Wizard and Shinkocha Seiho Kamen Rider Eternal both have very good wires. Not like perfect wires, but very good wires. Like SHF Eternals, or SS SHF Eternals cape, it's really well done. It's a shame that one was so limited. Like, also, yeah, Crispy, like, so DHL does care less about weight and more about dimensions, but also DHL will charge 20 bucks to you on top of everything else at the last minute. And on every shipment separately. It's so irritating. Shadow Scribe, Archcore. Yeah, that's the new, like, kind of little transformering, roboting things that also are full of Space Marines line. That it looks like the Acid Rain 52 people are doing. I'm not quite sure, but it looks really cool. I can't remotely fit it into my life right now, but I would like to because it looks really cool. I'm just going to hold this guy sideways for a bit because that way things won't run all down to the bottom of his cloak. I think I got a little too much water in there. Sandra Portella, what are your opinions on McFarlane toys? As of Fortnite, I really like McFarlane 7-inch toys when they're good. I don't buy all of them because I heard later on that, like, for instance, the Doom guy was bad. But their Fortnite figures were excellent as, like, playable toys. And I picked up Mortal Kombat X Scorpion and Batman Who Laughs, and then the two, like, Super Robot Superman and Batman figures from their first DC waves. All of those are super fun figures. Fortnite put something into McFarlane where they are actively trying, at least, to make better action figures. It just sounds like it is still hit and miss when you have projects that apparently go really badly, like the Doom guy, or I think someone told me the My Hero Academia ones also were not very good, which is a real shame, because the Fortnite ones are dead solid. Yeah, for Springen, kind of. Like FigArts, it's not like full-on bump up the price, they'll buy it anyway, but it's like FigArts keeps, like, bumping the price to, like, grudgingly implement little things, but they don't go for it, if that makes any sense. They don't go, you know what? FigArts are $100 now. They don't say it. They're just like, well, FigArts are usually this, but we're bumping it up to this, we're bumping to here, and we're trying to do this. They're not saying it, but that's the feeling I get, is that they aren't just committing to being, you know, like, lack of a better term, to being Mafex, for instance. Also, I know McFarlane has an issue for a lot of people that I don't have with it because I don't care, but it is valid. McFarlane toys are not 6-inch scale in a way that absolutely screws with a lot of collectors, and I get it. Oh, Jotaku Toys, I didn't know they were doing chase figures in that My Hero line. Like, the only chase figures I thought they were doing were the artist-proof Warhammer ones. Also, good McFarlane toys, I should say. The Warhammer 40k figures they've been doing are really good, in my opinion. I think this cloak is setting. Barb D8, thank you, by the way, for the comment on the shading on the cloak. I appreciate that. Well, so the Adachi Baby, they do put thigh swivels in, but on the internal buck where they are not necessarily usable on, I guess, like, at least a third to half of their figures. Kind of that thing I talked about with Fig Arts doing this sometimes, where they're like, no, we put a thigh swivel in. The sculpt makes it not usable, but we put a thigh swivel in. That's always a bummer. Like, there's one hidden in there. It's just sometimes you'll only get, like, 8 degrees out of it, which is annoying. Okay, so we are at 97. I'm going to check the time. Alright. I'm going to poke at this tank a little bit more. Ben Walters, Earth Mode Sideswipe? I don't got one. Give me one. I almost emailed Hasbro to go like, hey, Murphy's Law says you owe me a review copy of that. I was like this close to sending a dead serious, like just dead serious email of like, send me Sideswipe versus, or Sideswipe and Skywarp. Because you don't realize you owe me, but you made my day interesting, so now you owe me. And I want to dig out my jade colored paint and have another look at it. So I've got Vallejo blue green. And I've got Vallejo emerald. Oh, and I got this mint. I got to keep this out for that skin tone because I want to use the well, this is verdigris glaze, but I want to try using this as a mint. Oh, Barb D8, I get you on Chodo Ultraman not having the thigh swivel. What I will say, the ball sockets on the hips are able to get, like, straight up at least, like, 30 degrees of thigh swivel at the top of the leg still. Like, there's more thigh swivel in the ball socket hips than I thought. Calvin J, have you ever had interest for the NECA Predators? I used to, and I got one, and it was alright, but then I decided to completely get rid of all my NECA stuff that wasn't Half-Life. For reasons relating to I just don't like NECA. I don't judge anyone who purchases NECA, because also you're going through a lot of work half the time now. The Predators were alright. I just wish there was, like, I don't know. The NECA Predators were another one where I'm like, you're like this close, so go for it. And then they didn't really, like, go for it. They, you know, just they went for the Kenner thing, which was cute. I like the Kenner thing, conceptually, but the Kenner thing was like post me burning the bridge. So I just looked at them in the comic shops. Drone of War. Somebody already got Earth Mirage, so maybe all you have to do is ask at this point. Be like, hey, listen, y'all want to send one here? Or y'all want to wait till someone gets one that you didn't send them, huh? What are the chances we'll also get Prowl and Ironhide as non-combining Magna Boss? Decent. Like, I saw a lot of good theories that, like, Cheetah into Prowl and Rhinox into Ironhide, and I'm like, that could be. It could be. Like, you know, it sounds doable. Jotaku Toys, been lucky with my TMNT NECA purchases, kept what I had while I was ahead because of the headache of finding them. Yeah, I feel real bad for the Turtles collectors. Not for having toys, because those toys seem like they're really cool when you get them. But, like, it seems like the part where you get them is all over the place. Uh, let's see. Blue-green versus emerald. Blue-green. I'm going to see what blue-green looks like when I put a little bit on some of the plating. Ben Walters, what do you think of the Air Razor repaint? Yeah, Skywarp. I love that Skywarp has a new head that has a little bird head on it when the bird head's also clearly on his chest. After the McFarlane Kickstarter, I just can't trust. I've been burned by them for too long. Yeah, the McFarlane Kickstarter seemed really weird. Like, like that. I wouldn't say I felt like it was bad. It seemed really weird. I ignored it. I was like, this isn't doing anything for me. That paint does not look shaken enough. I gotta shake this harder. Like, that spawn looks like a figure where it's like, we gave it the joints, and it's like, you did. You didn't tell the sculpt about it, though. The sculpt looks really shocked. Calvin J, do you have a basis paint in this? Did you just plan the color scheme yourself? They look great. Thank you for that comment. These ones, I had a color scheme idea going in on this one. On this one, I was staring at it, and I did the orange trim. And then I was staring at it some more, and I thought that jade and orange would look cool, so I googled jade and orange, and I found a color palette called Orange Creamsicle, which is orange, jadey turquoise, yellow, and mint. And I thought that looked really cool. So that's the one I'm going for on the little tank thingamy. A John of War, yeah, the Spawn neck. Oh, who was this one? It's Fake Eyes 22. And it was T16 Skyhopper, my friends, I think, who got the Spawn and were taking photos of the neck. Barb D, what are your favorite colors to work with? I love cold palette blues and greens and purples. I really like that end of the color spectrum, like, you know, purple, pink, blue, green, turquoise. That kind of stuff, when it's especially when it's colder and not warm. I really like that stuff. For spring, and my mom just texted me asking if I want to go to Chick-fil-A with her for lunch. What do I do? Okay, this is making an assumption, but it's like, in my mind, I'd be like, if I knew that's a possibility, I'd have a menu of other places to go to say, hey, why don't we go to this place instead? If you can think of somewhere, just say, hey, what if we go to this place instead that I'm really excited to go to? And then you can, you know, not go to the chicken place. Ordering nobody. Plan to get Shoto Gao Ranger and Super Mini Claw Gao King. Immediately sold out after 2 hours. That's a bar. Aren't those web exclusives? Can't they? Isn't there just a window open on them? Or are they regular release? I did not really keep up with those. I liked what they were going for with them, but I didn't really keep up with the release. Oh, this is too thick, I think. Get off. I gotta pop in some more of that glazed medium into that. Goose. Getting colors. Why is it so hard for them to get the right colors? The purples are off on Cyclonus and Galvatron. So that is, I have a whole thing about that. There is a unique thing about the color purple where purple is almost never right, because purple being a combination of blue and red, I think, and this is something I decided when there were lots of arguments about alternator Binaltech Shockwave. I think that purple is very easy to see completely differently from person to person, almost more so than any other color, because of how blue and red are both so affected by varying different factors and the temperature of the light that is on a piece in general. I don't think it's actually possible to get purples done in a way that everyone thinks looks right. I think it's a visually volatile color. That's sort of apropos of nothing. Like, I haven't actually looked at the Galvatron side by sides yet, so I don't really have an opinion on it. But purple, I think, is a very difficult color to pull off in general when you have a source material you're aiming for, because purple can look so different with the most minor of outside factors. But that said, there's also, there's also Pantone numbers. You see this leak that happened over here because that wash was still wet? That was really weird to look at. I don't know if anyone else saw that. That's why I'm pulling from down here, away from where the event happened. There's something going on. I'm a little quiet because I'm like, there's something going on with this that I kind of like, but I wasn't really expecting. It's acting differently than I thought it would. But that's also inherently a little exciting. I'm gonna let that dry and see how that turns out when it dries. A thing with this kind of color that I've noticed when it's like this glazy is when it goes on, it looks like way more vibrant than it looks after it dries. So I want to see what this looks like after it dries. I keep bumping the thing this camera's on. I missed a bunch of chat. Holy crap. Every time I looked up, the chat had faded out. I have not messed with Super Mini Plot Dyna Xenon. Yeah, if the Gal Ranger stuff is web exclusive, it should be made to order within a window. So there should be more pre-orders opening up, but I'm making assumptions. Oh, Dima, I didn't realize. I guess I had heard it and then forgot. So in the moment, I did not realize about the ab joint thing with that spawn. Promising an ab joint and saying not too complicated. That's a bummer. I would hope that was at least communicated in a backer update in a timely fashion, is what I would hope. With whatever Transformers line does next, or the next Transformers line does, do you think we might get updated Transmetals? I suspect that they are at least, like, putting the TV show Transmetals on a list of, like, let's think about this. What I'm excited to see is just whatever Lenny meant about, whoop, dropped my brush for a second there. I want to know what he meant about, what was it? With Kingdom, that they've like taken the ceiling back off of Generations. I want to know what that means in the next two lines. My hope is it means that we're back to Generations as a full-on plural again. But I want to see what they do. I should say, I don't actually mind all the G1 stuff everywhere, because that's still kind of, like, G1 with joints still is kind of magic to me. Because, like, having been in the fandom since 1999, there was a long stretch in which that was seen as an impossibility. So it still feels magic to me, but I also completely understand how that can, like, bounce off of a lot of folks, like, exponentially more the farther ahead we go. Altizen Vice, that looks like a metal slug. Yeah, I kind of like the design on this thing, like, inherently having that metal slugness. I think with animated, I don't think we're. I'd like to see it because I'd like to see it as proof of concept of the S on Generations. I think animated, if anything, for that happens, it happens in an anniversary year, and it happens as like something that's more Generations selects, I guess. I suspect there's like animated. I think that there's a decent chance they throw a bone to animated, but I think that in the eyes of the decision makers right now, it's like Unicron Trilogy, I think, is still on their minds, and I think Prime is on their minds. I think animated is distantly behind those two, and I think most other shows don't exist right now. It's kind of how I'm feeling, but I'd like to be off about that. I don't want that to actually be the case. I missed a bunch of this again. I'm sorry. Hidden Elephant, if animated gets into Generations, I'll feel very old. I mean, animated is already nearly 14 years old, is what I'll say. We've already crossed the decade point. Excuse me. That was a slight snort and a slight cough. Two terrible things to do right next to the thing picking up the noises. I have failed you as a host. Penance must be endured. Talking about that Armada Prime, I think someone is really regretting having shown that Armada Prime prototype somewhere. I think someone's really like, man, who put that out? Who put the who didn't put the label on it when they put it out? I should clarify, not to say that I don't think it's going to come out. I just think that it was in a state of, like, this ain't coming out for a while. Action figure expert, hello to you. I'm painting some stuff. Yeah, ordinary nobody. Hasbro's like, we didn't even... We're the ones who keep getting asked. We didn't even put it out. It was... Takara Toei put it out at one of their shows. Stop asking us. I forgot about that part. Yeah, Hasbro gets all of the questions about it, and they did not even... They were not even the ones who had put it on display. As seeing in the chat, I would love to see another take on Knockout. I still like the Prid Deluxe Knockout as a toy, while acknowledging that it is not a very good Knockout, and that there should be a better Knockout, especially with what we know about. Well, we know, but especially with all the years of experience since in making car transformers, I would love to see that applied to Knockout. For Springen, they make new stuff. They just don't make good toys for. There's some good toys for new stuff, I should say. I don't want to fall into the hyperbole I myself don't enjoy, but also it's like they'll make some new stuff. It's just, you know, they'll make like a toy for it that's a Crash Combiner. It's fine. Transformers always goes through periods and droughts and floods. That's why in the end I'm just like, well, I'll just check in another year or two. We'll see where we're at. I still can't, yeah, I can't believe that Windblade did not show up at all in the last trilogy. But I more so can't believe that they didn't do a friggin' deluxe Windblade in Cyberverse Deluxe. It's like, Windblade's not real, but it's borderline insulting to Windblade. Especially in Cyberverse, probably the best spoken media Windblade that has existed. Red 2015 Windblade was also pretty solid, but had a wonky episode or two. The one from Cyberverse was important and generally pretty good. Did not get a deluxe because they had to make a deluxe of Prowl. That wasn't literally Prowl. I just blame Prowl because I'm like, you, what are you doing here? Who are you for? Because you know who that Prowl was for? That Prowl is there because someone's like, I love G1 Prowl. That's why that Prowl's there. Prowl doesn't matter in Cyberverse. I'm so salty about Prowl getting a deluxe. Like, Cyberverse Deluxe Prowl, irregardless of whether or not the toy is good, is like bait for people who weren't gonna go there anyway. Prowl in the deluxe line is me seeing Blur in the promo picture for Cyberverse on Netflix. Yeah. Cyberverse Blur is also a real just fun entity altogether. Friggin' one-step changer Blur made me double take when I saw it on a shelf because I had just seen a certain episode. And I was like, this is dark. He's way too happy in that photo of him. Yeah, Baltan, Cyberverse Blur. A Whirl in Cyberverse was legit. Like, Whirl in Cyberverse was kind of a gag, but it was a legit gag. I'll defend Cyberverse Whirl. Yeah, Tailgate, the whole thing that I felt like someone had talked about somewhere was like, well, if we ever do, we'd love to do, from episode 1, Wheeljack and Bumblebee turning into a boxcar and a throwing star. It'd be great. And there's like the literally the one thing that they never did, and it was really weird. I spent a year convinced that the next big event, they're going to show us that boxcar Wheeljack, and it's going to be great. And it never happened, and I was in denial for like a week. where I was like, the next big event. They're like, it's like they just showed off Earthrise, and I'm like, well, maybe the next big event. He's in wave 1 of Earthrise. Must be because the boxcar's coming. Never came. I should say. Like, yes, Hidden Elephant, Boxcar Wheeljack would probably be a kind of bad toy. I agree. However, I feel I am owed my Boxcar Wheeljack, regardless. Oh, we hit the 2-hour mark. That was what. Yeah, it's nigh 11:30. I'm gonna wind down a little bit. I feel like we made some good progress here. I didn't put the green trim on here, but instead I got a lot of work done on this cloak, which I'm happy about, or his coat. I'm really happy with where this is going. I might do I think I might do the path you never want to walk when you do all kinds of thin glazes, but I might do a shading wash over this green once and then paint some highlights on. But the color palette on this is doing it for me. Feels good. I'm gonna put this away at least. This will chat a little bit more. Hidden Elephant spending more time than I did on my Monpok. This is still all I've really done for Monpok. I haven't touched this thing in like a month. I gotta finish this so I have finished it and it's no longer a hurdle where I'm like, well, I gotta make sure I do Gallimimaxis right. What if I just make Gallimimaxis? Paint him. What if I just paint Gallimimaxis? Instead of worrying about painting Gallimimaxis correctly, what if I just paint Gallimimaxis? I talked about this before on the stream, but I feel like this is in part of the journey I am on, is learning to just like say, what if I just paint it though? Like instead of like worrying about the color scheme or worrying about doing it all perfectly right, it's like, what if I just do it though, and then if something wrong happens, we'll adjust and we'll fix it later. They mass-produced Gallimimaxis. If my Gallimimaxis goes really wrong, I can go buy another one. I have so much unpainted Monpok, it drives me nuts. It's partly because, and I refuse to adjust the easy way, I want the bases to be clear on my monsters and my units. So I'm like real hung up on doing it right. It's so dumb. I started on guard, and I think I just need to paint over part of it and start over again. Because I like started on guard, and then I changed my mind a bit. This was like a year and a half ago, and this is before I started poking a hobby streak, which has been so helpful for my creative brain. And then I was like, oh no, one wing on what's the one? What's the guard starter robot? Defender X. One wing on Defender X is wrong. The other one's right. What am I gonna do? And then just didn't look at it for a year. Like the thing I've been doing is I just don't have them on the bases. Like I just super glued Gallimimaxis' feet onto this, like, you know, this is an insert from Transformers TCG booster pack. So I'm just gonna do this and then just, you know, tear it off after they're done. Hang on, there was a long paragraph and then it disappeared. Logos Minor, waiting for Glacial Lore to be delivered in a few days, and looking back on the other old Fans Project stuff I never got, remembering how livid people got when they announced Dia Commander and Fans Project apologized. Yeah, I kind of remember that. I was reminiscing the other day. Or let's do some, shout out Pushing Up Roses. Let's do some flow art. This is disrespectful. Pushing Up Roses does very, very good drip art. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking it out. It's super freaking cool. Especially the videos of it happening. It's so satisfying to watch. But I was thinking about, because, what is it? Fans Toys showed off their Huffer, which I don't think looks all that great. And then someone else, not me, was like, Bad Cube Huff looked better than this. And I was like, that's because Bad Cube Huff was a penance and a story and a tale. Bad Cube Huff had character to its very existence because once upon a time there was a company called Cubex. They made a Huffer called Huff. The mass production went badly. They felt so bad about it they renamed themselves Bad Cube. And they made other toys constantly saying, we're only going to do Huff again when we know how to make good toys. And then they did Bad Cube Huff, who was pretty darn good. And then they went, hey, what if we pivot away from doing masterpiece-alikes and do original characters? They're going to be Transformers themed, but they'll be original characters. We'll start with Captain Huffy. Captain Huffy comes out, and a whole lot of people are like, huh? And then they show a second one in that line, which is called, like, Tetra. It's like this quadruple changer hover tank, cool, like, tankory thing. Their last Facebook update was a photo of it in September 2018 saying coming soon. And half the comments are saying, you gotta get back to doing Masterpiece. You're getting left in the dust. Has anyone heard from Bad Cube in, like, 2 years? Like, that made me so sad when I read that. Because I was like, this was the problem 2 years ago. Moment a company that was doing masterpiece-alike goes like, we want to try doing something that makes us feel more creatively fulfilled. You get these people on their Facebook page just going like, where's my snarl? Why don't you make gears? Where's my gears? Like, I assume they you know, like an iGears, I assume they folded. Because Captain Huffy, as far as I know, did not do well. And I should mention, I heard Captain Huffy also had, like, you know, production jank, but I also, now, like, when I was thinking about hearing that Captain Huffy had production jank, I was also like, who did I hear that from? Because third-party toy feedback is very often extremely colored in its tone, depending on the expectation of the buyer. So anyway, sometime in the next year, I want to track down a Captain Huffy in honor of wherever Bad Cube are. Like, Bad Cube were a bunch of... They were a bunch of scrappy weirdos, and I miss them. Also, that Fans Toys Huffer, this is the thing about it. Because I looked at it, I wanted to be real fair because I was going off about Bad Cube and then trashing on Fans Toys more as a result. So I took a look, and I was like, I think it's neat that it looks like the Fans Toys Huffer's lower legs fold forward to become the front of the cab. That looks neat. Because it's Fan Toys, I have no confidence that process is actually going to be fun until I see how it works. Also, in that Fans Toys truck mode, holy crap, you can see his fingers in the smokestacks, because there's just like a little cap like this over top of them. That's how much it covers them. I'm like, come on. Barb D8, Fans Project had a whole other separate thing that went down. Verspringen, did people give Fans Project crap over Steel Core? Yes! Because a whole lot of people went like, oh, when Steel Core was revealed, they were like, huh, that's a weird, in the Great Prototype, they were like, that's a weird Ultra Magnus you're doing. And then when they showed the color version of Steel Core, a whole bunch of people were like, wait, who's that supposed to be? And that was the whole conversation. And because I talk a lot and I always like to try to cover all these bases, I will say there's nothing wrong individually with people saying who's that supposed to be. It's more so when I say that stuff, it's about the tone of a gathering of people creating a voice that's saying that. Because I've made some folks upset over the years when I would yell about that, and they're like, well, I would just like ones that look like Transformers, and it's like, that's fine. You are allowed to do that. Yeah, and then they made Steel Core into Grimlock, and we never heard from them again. The Fans Project's whole thing was there was a whole... I think they went into it publicly, right? About, like, how they had a whole thing about... Because that was why the Snarl from their Dinobots got stuck for, like, a year sitting in a warehouse or whatever. Because they had the thing that happened with Zeta Toys, where there was an internal split that probably involved lots of interpersonal nonsense that... is very likely actually not our business. Verspringen, I'm gonna forget it, so I can't do this, but Mac Eric's needs to be code word for Mastermind Creations, and the moment someone else says it in like an hour, I'm gonna be like, what are you talking about? Oh, MMC Eris. I thought that whole thing was an MMC. I thought your phone just went nuts. Oh, it reminds me, not to keep going after I said I was going to wind down, although I am technically winding down. I got my shipping notification from my MMC Eris, so I'm hype. And then there was like 2 tracking numbers, and I was like, how do I use this? And I Googled SF Express, which was one of the shipping companies, and the first result I got was Planet Steel Express's FAQ on how to track your package from SF Express. And I was like, well, at least this is handled. I'll read this later. I should actually pack this up so that I don't have this all laid out here as an excuse to not film things when I'm feeling peppier after I sleep. Which I'm not going to do right now. I'm going to try to stay up. But the reason I wanted to end the stream close to noon is I have a couple things at Meeple Mart I want to go grab. And I messed up somehow my left Achilles tendon, I'm pretty sure. Because it's been a while and it still kind of hurts to walk on it. So I'm not going to do like the full 2.5 hour walk. But I want to go pick up my stuff. I'm tired of it sitting there. Verspringen, didn't Fans Project make a swoop with boobs? No, their swoop was normal. They made 2 raptors that turned into boob robots. Where the boobs were part of the transformation. Which was really weird. Adachi baby, yeah, I hope that those re-ups pan out too. Like, it sounds like they were just, for those who don't know, who missed out on that Eris, MMC said that they're taking all their canceled pre-orders and putting them up in 2 different windows, and one of those might have passed already. I'm not sure, but they have an announcement up on all their social medias if you were hoping to track that down. Oh, Shadow Scribe, you got the ship alert as well. Something about converting a cheetah. Yeah, the opening of the stream, I filmed the transformation for Cheetah. And on my 21st transformation during that bit, the tab finally broke on him. So the tab it's back over there. It's in that little baggie over there behind Stiltman. For Springen, the fans will only accept deviation from the canon if boobs send tweet. I mean, that's partly why I also really like to stick up for Centurion from IDW too. Well, actually, no. There's people who really like Turmoil. So Turmoil breaks the rule. Oh yeah, Shadow Scribe. The tab is a super duper known thing. It's also irrelevant. Like, the tab being broken is actually, it makes the tab does nothing to help. And in fact makes the transformation more complicated. So the tab breaking off is a good thing, in my opinion. Yeah, Hidden Elephant. +1 Geomotus. Geomotus crew. Raichu, are you getting MMC's Star Convoy? Not anytime soon. It sounds like there's some jank that I don't want to deal with. And I don't care enough about Star Convoy to put the money down. I got dust on this thing. Holy crap. Weird, I'm using it too. Like, it sounds like the fixes are pretty easy, because there's something up with the leg sliders. And Pia was tweeting that he fixed it with some paper buffers, which I thought might be the thing that would fix it. It sounds like it worked. But also, like, it's expensive, and there's other things I want to buy more, so it falls into that realm. Pancake is giving you Toy Story 2 vibes. Yeah, look at that. Came direct, made to order from Latvia. It was the most ridiculous thing to spend money on to get myself to paint more, when it's a thing you should only be buying if you're already painting a lot. Drawn to War, apparently you can just leave him in bot mode for a week and the tabs will reshape to work. Do you mean on the Star Convoy? I am assuming that's about the Star Convoy. Otherwise, I don't understand how that would work with Cheetor. Okay, it's about the Star Convoy. I was like sitting there going like, wait, how on Cheetor though? Like, that could almost, if that's the case, that could even maybe be like just a mold release thing. Like, I know I've had, now I don't remember which ones. I'm going to gesture with my hands so that this stops being so overblown exposure. There were a couple of figures who had, like, loose joints that just became tight after 24 hours. And I think it's because of, like, oxygen reactions and mold release and etc. I should be a magician. Yeah, my black arachnias have been fine. This is the one with the 2 left feet who just chills out over here now. But the other one, I modded her boob tab. This one I think I might have as well. It's just if you take a file, like a diamond file, like a modeling one, and you just go and then you're done. Like, this already fits better without it being like a scary amount of pressure. The tab is just like, the tab I think was designed around like having a different pliancy than it had. But that's if you know to deal with it. As Hidden Elephant said, Hidden Elephant says, mine broke off before I knew it. That's also just a thing that can happen. Raichi, what Cyberverse Deluxes do you think are worth tracking down to get? I think Thunder Howl is incredibly interesting. It's just a really, really cool decisions made in how the transformation works. Bumblebee's pretty solid. Optimus and Megatron, you might have to do some TLC on the joints, but I like them. RC is solid. Grimlock doesn't seem to connect very well with a lot of folks, although I kind of like him. I don't like Shockwave all that much, but a lot of other people do. I have not messed with the new ones. I've only messed with the Build-A-Figure ones, so I don't know anything about Prowl or Starscream or the like. Barb D, do you think we'll see some third-party 3A-alike movie toys? There is someone who has shown a prototype for a high-end triple-changer Shatter, but it's one of the companies where all the reviews on their movie stuff sounds like it's, like, I don't know, like, I can't tell. That's the problem with a lot of the companies doing, this is way too bright, I'm coming back down here. There's a lot of companies' stuff where it's like, you know, a couple companies have done Bumblebee movie Bumblebee, and they all have high points, they all have low points, and it's all, this is like the bar graph. And the feedback is often, like, either a little inconclusive or a little bit, like, tonally incomplete, and I just don't really, I'm sorry, okay, we'll go back up a little bit. Look at, ah, it's so bright, though! What if I turn this off? That doesn't help. There, that's a little bit better. Sorting out a static shot of part of a wood case. We do good things on this stream. I saw someone say good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You're actually here at the end of a stream. But there's a VOD that'll go up when this is done. Okay, Righteous says Toy World's doing the triple changing shatter and dropkick. Yeah. But I don't know if there's going to be, like, just the 3A... Like, yeah, I know what you mean, though. Like, I want 3A DLX shatter and dropkick to go with the rest of the ones I have. And it bothers me that I think that's probably not going to happen. I wonder if I could balance the light here so we don't get as much, because that's just a fill. What if I turn this one down? That's not doing much. Well, that's kind of doing something. There, that's a little bit better. Oh, if I push the... Barb D8, if you push the paint palette up, I think it'll auto-correct the brightness. Excuse me? I thought that was gonna work. I was about to say, like, look... Okay, well, I have to do this. There, now we get the best of both worlds. I was gonna say, check out Barb D8 solving all the problems, and then the friggin' thing didn't do what it was supposed to do. Anyway. Epic EPs watches 3-0 does all the Cybertron characters before Shatter. Well, that's the bummer, right? Is the Cybertron characters are a bigger, like, casual person with lots of money draw. So it's like, it's not wrong. Which is a shame. I see a bunch of chatter about the Windblade statue. I saw a thumbnail and I was like, I'm uninterested, so I just left it alone. I didn't really dig into it. I was like, that. I'm sure that's for someone. That's great. Adachi baby. Now there's a metaphor somewhere if we look hard enough. Here, I'm gonna add to this. I'm gonna add this is the hidden sauce. Toothpick. But yeah, hopefully I don't go comatose and I get the rest of the Cheetor stuff filmed, because I still gotta write part of the script too, but I decided I want to start filming him. Ideally, last night I was hoping to like gang film Cheetor and Huffer and Sunstreaker, and then I was like useless instead. So they're still ones I want to do. I got the script done for Sunstreaker, but that's gonna be like 421, because Cheetor is gonna be review number 419. So 420 is gonna be something stupid. On Twitter, I'd like canvassed before about like, hey, what are your 420 Transformers? And I had lots of really good ideas, but then it was like, this is too complicated. So I looked at all of I had like a couple figures lying around I'd brought back from BC that I didn't know why, and then one of them just leapt out at me as like, this looks like someone who fills my head with the sound of a kind of like late 40-something going, "Ay." And so I was like, that's review 420. So that one I gotta try to write that one in one go and not put too much into it. I just want it to be a stupid gag that's funny just to me. I was thinking of trying to reach out, because video game related. I was like, can I poke some friends who can like put in like little 5-second info bits about this character? And then I sat there while I was eating some Thai food, and I was like, this is already too elaborate. This is never gonna work out. We just gotta go with the dumb joke, and it will miss for a lot of people, and I don't care, because then we've done review 420. I was gonna put a bunch of like language into review 420, a bunch of like key words, but then I was like, this could, because YouTube has a thing now that they tell you about when you upload, which is like, oh, we're gonna scan your video just to make sure that you know, a couple of check marks are ticked, and I'm like, you're gonna scan for words, aren't you? You're gonna scan for a whole bunch of keywords. Not just weed words, but you're gonna scan for a bunch of keywords. 'Cause, like, you know, the news already always passing around about how, like, what was the one I saw earlier today that I retweeted? Like, a kid's video channel had a thumbnail with a pride flag in it, and then there was like a pop-up someone got when they watched it going like, hey, just wanted to know, are you okay with this being marked as for kids? And someone was like, it's funny how they didn't do anything about the Spider-Man Elsa plague for like a year, but then this goes up from like a known quantity channel, and there's a pop-up asking if you're okay with it. Because I just want to put in a bunch of words like decarb and ABV and whatnot, dugout or stuff like that. I want to make it as incomprehensible as that review I did of the TF Nation exclusive glyph, where the whole thing was a terrible Matt Berry impersonation. I think they're scanning stream in real time. Yeah, they probably, because you can monetize the live streams, they probably have a thing running on these. But like, when I upload videos, they have it's a whole like 2-step thing, where like you can submit a rating, and then like if your ratings are generally correct, they'll just take your word for it up front, but then they'll do a safety scan, or like you can, once you upload it, choose to do a safety scan for this, or this. This is super weird. Like, whenever YouTube creators talk about, like, having, like, anxiety attacks from looking at analytics or interacting with the system, like, they're not wrong. Like, this friggin' the whole thing is built to burn people out and then generate new ones. Like, you gotta be able to ignore some of that if you just want to use the platform as a platform. I'm always trying to hover sort of in the middle. I would like this to continue to be monetizable in that it gives back to me while I put into it. But there is a hard ceiling on which I wish to interact with those systems. Like, for instance, I went into this, I think, on another live stream, because I heard this from a couple other channels. Like, if you have a lot of little videos, and you have a lot of live stream VODs, if those live stream VODs are not set to unlisted, YouTube thinks, wow, people are not watching all your videos the same amount of time. You're moving down in the algorithm tier in discoverability. It's ridiculous. So there's some channels which are like, hey everyone, we're so sorry, but we gotta, our VODs are unlisted, but there's a playlist where you can access them, and the playlist is public, and I'm like, I hate that someone has to worry about that nonsense. That's also why I just have been aggressively enjoying live streaming, because I'm like, this is probably highly devaluing my discoverability, but also I don't care. My discoverability, I have deduced, has been highly devalued many times already. Like, all the times people have been like, hey, I didn't know you were still doing this, I haven't had a notification in 2 years, etc. Barb D8, do you plan to re-upload the Blip reviews? I would like to. They're more work than I thought they'd be, because I basically have to rebuild them from old Final, like old Final Cut pre-pro files. So I have to find the hard drives they're on, and etc. I was super down for digging up the Spreem one because it's Spreem, but then the other ones I was like, oh, this is a bunch of work. Yeah, constant live streams seem to be a much more viable method of content delivery. Like, I think that currently, the YouTube live stream system is very useful, but I also don't think that it is entirely being used as intended. And I'm hoping that that YouTube just leaves it. I mean, they're not gonna. They're YouTube. I hope they leave it alone for the most part, because the integration with subscriber notifications and generating a VOD that goes straight onto my channel is absolutely beautiful. I love it. If it affects discoverability, that's fine. Whatever. I love it because ever since I decided that I wanted to try to do one of these once a week somehow, you know, roughly, I've also been having more fun because I like live streaming, and it's a different energy than the energy that I like to implement into videos I make with scripting and whatnot. Because I like talking. I'm one of them. I'm one of those. So this is turning into a long ramble. I'm gonna take a. Look how much of this I didn't drink in 2 hours and 20 minutes. The point I was trying to get to in my tremendously long-winded way as I wipe this Coke that's spilled on my shirt, is I'm really happy to see lots of familiar names in here, because I have fun interacting with y'all whilst I'm streaming whatever I'm doing. We're having a good chill time, not doing like crazy bits or anything, but I'm still enjoying the vibes. People are generally, you know, up and down a little bit, but people are generally keeping peaceful. I'm always happy when I see Aaron in here, because people don't always know that Aaron's a mod, and that I told Aaron to just do what you think you need to. It actually, but ultimately it's down to creator satisfaction. Didn't mean to open the can of worms. It's fine, it's fine. I like talking about this stuff, because like, what like, why not talk about it? It's because I consider this a shared experience. I think that it's completely valid to share that much of it, especially with whoever shows up to live streams. Because there's also, I guess as my closing point, there's also like tiers of interaction, even just in videos. Like, something that says review is usually looked at the most. Something that says vlog is looked at less. That's why sometimes in vlogs I'll say like, hey, if you see this in the... I haven't done it in a while, but I know I've done it once or twice. I'll be like, if you see this in the comments, say this to them, because I might not notice it in the comments. But like, if you see that pop up a lot, tell people this, because this is what's up. So people will see reviews, but not vlogs. People will see those two, but not live streams. Although vlogs and live streams, I'd say, are generally the same thing. So yeah, there's like a staircase effect, sort of. And then when you couple that with the whole thing where, like, demonstrably there are folks who just don't get notifications about my videos for multiple years. It's a system that will not work with me, so I'll just use what's there. It still blows my mind, because, like, basically, there's never been a break longer than maybe, like, what, 3 months that I haven't posted anything in the last, like, decade. And I maintain 3 months isn't that long on the internet, even though it feels like it, because I'm also tweeting the whole time and whatnot. If people want to know where I am, either it's not that important, which is fine, Or if it is super important, it's like I'm still tweeting or whatever a pile. Granted, that involves going to Twitter, which is a non-factor for a decent amount of folks. But like, it's nuts to me how it's not an isolated case that I've over the last couple years heard like, damn, I thought you were dead. Damn, I thought you retired. And I'm like, go click on. You should go on the channel and click on the uploads list and tell me what you think. I did that once, and that person was like, what? Like, basically, that was the time that it was really identified to me, the length of time, because that was the one, I think, that was the 2-year one, where it was like, there's 2 years, there are videos here that say 2 years old that I never knew you posted. And I'm like, that explains a whole lot. Also, I totally missed Barb D8. Thank you for I think it's super chat on this. Thank you kindly for the super chat. Anyway, the toothpick has served its purpose, so I'm gonna move it back over here. I don't use this. Whoa! I hit the power cable. I don't use this for my teeth. I used this for some PVA glue the other day. What did we see when I did that? Oh, you just saw what's standing over there. Okay. There's no rhyme or reason to this, by the way. This is primarily just like things that I put over there, and they live there now. That will change someday. Hi, Soundwave. Anyway, as I said before, thank you all for chilling out in the streams. Be good this month. Go and stick up for some trans people if you have the opportunity. Stick up for everybody, but it feels like trans people are getting a lot of crap, especially in America this month. So go put some good energy in there in general, however you feel like it, or no, just take care of yourself. But I will talk to you all later. And we'll stream something again. I might stream making French toast. That might be an additional stream that just happens one morning if I feel excited. That will be short. But if it happens, you know, you'll see a VOD at the very least. Take it easy, y'all. I'm gonna push this button, and then everything will end.